All right, let's just dive right into this explainer. We're looking at Maple Rotisserie. Now, you probably know them for comfort food, right? But behind the scenes, there's this massive, high-stakes technological transformation happening. So today, we're going to dissect exactly how a beloved restaurant chain balances aggressive digital innovation with the very real, constantly looming threat of cyber attacks.
And we've got to start by just acknowledging the sheer scale here. 1.2 billion Canadian dollars in gross sales in 2024. I mean, that is not a small operation. When you're pushing that much revenue through your systems every single year, every digital transaction, every loyalty point, and every online order, including yours, by the way, becomes a truly critical piece of this billion-dollar puzzle.
So, here's our roadmap for this explainer. First, we'll map out the Maple Rotisserie empire, then look at their QSR digital engine, break down the IT structure and budgets, go over the looming cybersecurity threats, and finally, unpack the risk appetite dilemma.
Okay, Section 1, the Maple Rotisserie Empire.
Because Maple Rotisserie, it is definitely not just some mom-and-pop chicken shop. Founded back in '98 in Mississauga, Ontario, they've blown up to 150 locations across Canada. And what's really key here is the split. You've got 40 corporate-owned outlets, kind of acting as their highly controlled testing grounds, and 110 franchise spots run by local entrepreneurs. Plus, they're boasting a 15% average EBITDA margin. So yeah, they are running a highly profitable, very tight ship.
Moving right along. Section 2, the QSR digital engine.
So how are they pulling in all this cash? Well, it's not the 90s anymore, and it takes way more than just rotisserie ovens. They are powered by an absolute beast of a digital engine. We're talking a fully cloud-based ERP system, a proprietary mobile app with over 2 million downloads, an AI-driven recommendation engine to upsell you those meal combos, PCI DSS-compliant payment systems across all 150 stores, and totally seamless integrations with third-party delivery apps. Literally, this is a tech company that just happens to sell chicken.
And that brings us to this crazy balancing act. They have to flawlessly run traditional physical operations, roasting poultry, managing physical supply chains, while aggressively expanding their digital footprint, managing massive e-commerce flows, highly personalized mobile orders, and AI marketing algorithms. This digital side, that's exactly what's driving them to that $1.2 billion mark. But, as you might guess, it also opens up some pretty massive new fronts for risk.
Okay, Section 3, IT structure and budgets. Let's look at the actual financial engine here. For their 2025 IT budget, they're working with $75 million total. $33 million goes straight to IT operations, just keeping the lights on. $22 million gets pumped into software development for the app and AI features. Nearly $15 million covers salaries and training, but then, consider the cybersecurity allocation. Just $5.25 million. That's roughly 7% of the entire IT budget. It's tiny. And external auditors? Yeah, they definitely noticed. They actually threw up some major red flags recently. They basically told the board, look, you're building this massive digital fortress to house your billion-dollar revenue stream, but you're barely paying for the locks on the front door. A 7% allocation just doesn't cut it when you are this dependent on digital platforms. And it gets even more interesting when you track the trends over time. From 2023 to 2025, total IT spending has steadily grown by about 5%, from around $68 million up to $75 million. But that cyber defense budget? It just stubbornly hovers around 7% of the total pie. So the overall risk surface keeps expanding as they chase innovation, but the proportion they spend to actually protect it is essentially flatlining. Which leads us straight into Section 4, looming cybersecurity threats. Because they're so heavily digitized, they're facing a pretty terrifying array of high-stakes threats when literally every cash register is a connected POS terminal and all your delivery orders flow through the cloud. Well, a single point of failure can instantly cascade across all 150 locations nationwide. Let's walk through one nightmare scenario they call Card Clash. It's a POS malware attack. It usually starts with something simple, like a legit-looking software patch that actually contains a malware payload. It silently infects the POS terminals. Then, every single time a customer buys a chicken dinner, it skims their credit card data right out of the transaction memory. And finally, it periodically batches that data and quietly exfiltrates it to an external server. The scary part? This can run completely undetected for weeks.
And that's just one scenario. Add to that peak hour paralysis.
Imagine a massive DDoS attack, just completely crashing the online ordering platform on a Friday night during the dinner rush. Or hostage data, where ransomware locks up their reservation and ordering systems until they pay out in crypto. Or even a breach from within, some disgruntled employee leaking proprietary data. Literally any of these could completely destroy customer trust and cost them millions overnight.
All right, final part. Section 5, the risk appetite dilemma.
So how does the leadership actually view all this? Well, the board established a formal cybersecurity risk tolerance, or risk appetite, of 0.35. Now, on a scale from 0 to 1, where 0 is totally risk avoidant and 1 is, let's roll the dice, a 0.35 means they are formally stating they want to play it very, very safe. They prioritize brand reputation above almost everything else. Supposedly, they have zero tolerance for data breaches.
But here is the massive, glaring contradiction. On one hand, management claims this 0.35 risk-averse appetite. On the other hand, they are acting incredibly aggressively, pumping money into new apps, AI, and delivery tech, while practically starving the 7% cybersecurity budget that is literally supposed to enforce that 0.35 safety net. You kind of can't be aggressively digital and defensively passive at the same time without inviting a total disaster.
So I'll just leave you with this final thought for today's explainer. Can you truly claim to be risk-averse while starving the very defenses that keep your billion-dollar digital engine running? Maple Rotisserie built an incredible modern business on top of comfort food, but their next strategic move has to reconcile this budget gap. Thanks for hanging out, and seriously, keep questioning how the businesses you rely on are actually protecting the data you hand over.